Hi, before we get going on our equations here, let's review absolute values. Here's Derek, and let's say that he's 4 miles from his house, which could be that represented on the number line here, between 0 and 4. To get a distance between 2 points on the number line here, from 0, we can use the absolute value. So we take the absolute value of 4, and that will give us 4 miles. Now let's suppose he's going to McDonald's, which is in the opposite direction, and we can represent those values by a negative. So we're going from 0 to -4. We can represent that as the absolute value of -4, and so we also get 4. Now, this is not the only situation for finding distances on the number line. We can find distance between other points besides 0 on the number line. Let's say we're going to go from -3 to 2. We can use subtraction. So subtract -3 from 2 and we get 5. We can subtract 2 from -3 if we're going the opposite direction, and we'll also get 5. So this is a way of finding distances on the number line. Just subtract the 2 points. Now let's get set up here to do our equations. This is the absolute value of 2, which is 2. The absolute value of -2 is 2. Now suppose that we put in a variable in the absolute value. What are the only values that could go in for C so you get an absolute value of 2? And that's either a plus or a -2, as we showed it the first part here. Now here's our first equation here. Now you could think of this as the distance between A and -2. Now what's the only thing we could put in for A plus 2 so that we'd get 3 for the absolute value? It's a 3 or a -3. So what you do is set up 2 equations. See, we're going to try to come up with 2 values that go in the absolute value. And so on the left hand side we're getting A equals 1. On the right hand side we're going to subtract 2 from each side, and we're going to get A equals a -5. Now let's see if this is so. Let's put A back into our original equation here, and let's take 1 first, and we'll get the absolute value of 3 equals 3. Now if we go and use -5, we'll get the absolute value of -3, which is also 3. So they are solutions to our equations. Now here's another problem here. What's the only thing that we can put in the absolute value sign so we'll get a 7? And that's a 7 or a -7. So let's set 3x minus 2 equal to a 7 or a -7. And you work those 2 equations separately. On the left hand side we're adding 2 to both sides, and we'll get 3x equals 9, and then divide through by 3, and we're going to get x equals a 3. Now on the right hand side here we're going to add 2 to both sides, and then we should get 3x equals -5. Divide through by 3 and we get a -5/3. Those are the 2 solutions that will go in for x that will make our absolute value right. Okay, now in this problem here, the only thing we can put in the absolute value sign is a 6 or a -6. So let's set -y equal to 6 or -6. And we just get 2 simple equations here, work them out for y, and we should get y equals a -6 and y equals 6. Those are the 2 values for y that we can put in to make our absolute value equal to 6. Now in this problem here is a situation you got to watch for. There's nothing you can put in the absolute value so you get a negative. So there's going to be no solution to this problem. Well, thank you.